Hi, boys and girls. Today I have a book for you, and it's about a lady who makes the world a better place. Her name is Miss Rumphius, and she had an award. It says winner of the American Book Award, and the illustrations are the story and pictures are by Barbara Cooney, who wrote a lot of the books that I've read to you. Here we go. Let's see. This is a book that I like to read around Mother's Day because Miss Rumphius does wonderful things just like mommies do. I'm going to put my glasses on and we're going to go ahead and read. And there are beautiful lupins. I love the lupins. And this book is dedicated to St. Nicholas, patron saint of children, sailors, and maidens. What I didn't know that about the others. The Lupin lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored lupins. The Lupin lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know, she is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling masts of the tall ships. Um, Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship, and here is her little house by the sea right there. But this was when she was a young girl in this picture. Now she worked in the shop at the bottom of the house. Now he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making fine figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures too of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. And here is the figurehead right there. You can see that that's what that is to make the ship decorated. And there's little Alice painting the clouds in. In the evening, Alice sat at her grandfather's knee and listened to his faraway stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places, and when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "Oh, that is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "Well, what is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what it could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was all grown up. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do three things that she told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city, far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting all mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places, and people called her Miss Rumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "Ah, this is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." And there she is walking in the snow. Can you see her going to this beautiful place where there were gardens? So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked along long beaches, picking up beautiful shells, and one day she met the Bapa Raja, king of a fishing village. "Oh, you must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. The Bapa Raja fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother of pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "Well, you will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumphius, and there's Miss Rumphius walking on the beach. My great aunt Rumphius, Aunt Alice Rumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow cover never melted. She went through the jungles across deserts. She saw lions and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters. That's here. When getting off of a camel, she heard her back. "Oh, what a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I certainly have seen faraway places. Maybe it is time to find my place by the sea." And it was, and she did. And here she is climbing those mountains in faraway places. And here she is. She had fallen from the camel. From the front porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it across the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. "But there is still one more thing I have to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." But what? The world already was pretty nice, she thought, looking around over the ocean. And there's the whole picture. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had painted the summer before had come up, and they bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. "Lupins," said Miss Rumphius with satisfaction. "I've always loved lupins the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year." But she was not able to. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top. For there, on the other side of the hill, was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupins. "It was the wind," she said as she knelt in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped." Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupin seed. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands, sowing lupins. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into the hollows and along the stone walls. Her back didn't hurt any more at all. Some people called her that crazy old lady. Here she is ordering all the bushels of lupin seeds. She's not a crazy old lady. I think she's smart. The next spring there were lupins everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with the blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay along the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down in the hollow and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third, the most difficult thing of all. My great aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupins. Now they call her the Lupin Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupins. And then some people call them lupines. When she invited us in, they came slowly. They think she's the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. Ah, that is all very well, little Alice, said my aunt. But there is the third thing you must do. What is that? She asked. Oh, you must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. And here are all the kids waiting at her gate in front of her house. But I do not know yet what that can be. So, this is a beautiful story, boys and girls. That's the end of our story. This little girl, her grandniece, doesn't quite know how she'll make the world a more beautiful place. But I know someone who's working to make your world more beautiful, and that's your mother. And this weekend is Mother's Day weekend, and I'm going to be sending home something special that goes with the Lupin Lady. If you would like to make your cover picture of lupins, you're going to make flowers on the cover of a card, and on the back cover, you're going to do a picture of your mother and you, and you're going to write something on the inside. Don't tell mom, though. It's between you and daddy and maybe a sister or brother, but you're not going to tell your mama. But your mama, think about your mom. Think about how she makes your world a more beautiful, beautiful place. And it could be something like making beautiful pictures, or maybe she plants a beautiful garden, or maybe she does special things for you and your family or other people. Maybe she volunteers to help people who are in need of some sort. There's lots of things that mommies do to make a world a more beautiful place, and especially when it's with children, um, and other people. It just is wonderful. My mom is in heaven right now, but she made the world a more beautiful place with her paintings and her pastels and her watercolors and her oil paintings I have in my house. And it has left my world a more beautiful place. She taught me all about God's wonderful creation and all the colors of the rainbow and then some. And she showed me to listen for different birds in the sky. She especially loved the birds and flowers. And think about your mother and just think about how wonderful she is. Boys and girls, I'll tell you more about your project a little later. I hope that you enjoyed our story. It is the loveliest story of someone changing their world, seeing their world, putting into their worlds something of themselves. When she was a librarian, Miss Rumphius was a librarian, traveled the world, and then left the world a much more beautiful place just for a little bit of effort. So even a smile makes the world a better place. Have a wonderful day, boys and girls, and I'll talk to you next time. And a little note to my grandson if he watches this: your mommy and daddy went to Grandpa's vineyard and gathered lupins and filled the whole back seat of the car with white lupins, brought them into the house, and we all started sneezing crazily. And that was the end of having lupins in the house. So lupins are nice outside, little Clark. All right, boys and girls, and my grandson Clark, there's a story of lupins and his mommies and daddies. Lovely moment with a car full of lupins. All right, have a great day. Bye bye.